This is the monthly meeting of the City of Virginia Beach Development Authority for August the 17th, 2021. At this point, we'll take public comment. The floor is open to speak with a 3-minute limit on posted agenda items. Vicki, has anybody signed up?
No sign up.
So we have no speakers for this morning. The next item of business is the meeting minutes from our July 20th, 2021 meeting. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
And a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. The next item I'm going to have to abstain from voting on, so I'm going to hand it over to Joe to open a public hearing.
Okay, we want to open up a public hearing at this point.
Okay, this is a revenue bond matter, and Hugh Patterson, who is counsel for the Westminster Canterbury, is here to explain a little bit about what we're going to do with the money.
Either way, either here or there, although for the cameras, is it better to be?
I think there's cameras in both directions.
Oh, okay. It's up to you.
Thank you all. Nice to see you all this morning. I'm Hugh Patterson. I serve as General Counsel for Westminster Canterbury. Mr. Ben Uncle is here. He's the President and CEO of Westminster Canterbury. And David Myers is Chief Financial Officer is here. If you have any questions about the technical part of this project, you can talk to them and other planners. We're here to ask your assistance in issuing $110 million in industrial revenue bonds to help finance the construction of a memory care assisted living center on Westminster Canterbury's expanded campus. As probably you all know, we purchased the Haven and Efficient Care property next door in February of 2018, and this is where this facility would be located. That property included two lots on the water and then 2 or 3 lots back behind it for parking. We have a part of that property too, and that's where this facility will go. It's going to be a 7-story facility. The first story will be parking, second, third story will be memory care units, and there'll be 48 of those units divided into 4 neighborhoods, with each neighborhood having a kitchen and 2 dining rooms. And 4 through 7 will be assisted living, with a dining room on the 7th floor. I think it's going to be a nice facility. We'll add the amenities that we have there, and we'll add 81 new full-time equivalents to the 440 we already have. So it'll be a big boon to the Virginia Beach, we think. And the economic benefits are spelled out in the application. If you all have any questions about that, I'd be glad to answer them.
We need you, Mr. Patterson. We're aging. Our city. Some of us.
We think it's a good facility. We think this will make it even better. And also, in addition, once they're moved into the new assisted living facility, the apartments in the east tower, floors 1 through 3 are assisted living. Now they'll be renovated into 43 new independent living units. So there'll be additional people moving in, independent. We think this will add really the amenities that we needed for a long time. We appreciate your assistance. We hope we can get it. Thank you.
Do you have any further speakers? I would ask that you close the public hearing.
Okay, we want to close the public hearing at this point.
Great. And then, Mr. Vice Chair, we have 2 resolutions on. There's the initial approval resolution and then the final approval resolution. I will note that these are both subject to City Council's endorsement, which is scheduled for later this evening. These can be done in one big resolution. Bond Council asked that we do it in 2, so we're going to ask you folks to vote twice. And I would also note that this, as with all bonds, is completely non-recourse to the city, to the authority, or to any officers. This is a statutorily created function.
I have a motion.
Make a mo.
Excuse me. Second or whatever.
I was going to say I make a motion, providing the initial approval of the issuance of $110 million of revenue bonds.
Second.
Second.
So move.
Call for the vote.
Second one.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And again, for the record, I'll abstain from the vote.
And we have a letter for Ms. Murphy.
The second one.
Second motion.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And I'll abstain from this item as well. Okay, sounded like that motion carried. Thank you, Joe. Next item of business is the financials.
Hello, Madam Chair, members of the commission, I'm Ryan Solis. Going to report out.
Hey, Ryan, give me 1 second real quick. Just for the record, Madam Chair, and Vicky, if you would, where he cannot vote with us. I've just learned that Mr. Standing is on the line paying attention. But we didn't advertise for virtual participation. He's unable to vote, but he is with us in the capacity that he can be.
Okay, thank you, Taylor. All right, Brian.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you. So, as you know, we are in between accountants, but the good news is that between Kathy and I and Taylor, we are onboarding a contractual accountant really starting next Thursday. And so what we're doing this month is reporting out on, chatting with the city auditor about that, reporting out on the significant cash receipts and the disbursements that we have had through July. And then for your September meeting, we'll have a full reconciliation. Your operating budget has been hovering around the $4.1 to $4.3 million range anyway, or your operating account has been. So in terms of cash receipts, we have your typical Virginia Beach National rent, the funding share from the golf sponsorship, and then from capital improvements. And then you have bank interest of just under $1,000. In terms of disbursements, we have several district improvement program grants. Down below, we had some consulting services for updating our corporate landing design criteria. We had some soft costs and design with Kimley Horn for Atlantic Park Phase 2. And that's associated with the land assemblage on the south block there. I've been working on that. And then utilities. And so, again, this is the significant activities from your operating budget and accounts. And next month, we will have a full reconciliation of the beginning-ending balance. So, thank you for your patience on that. Anybody have any questions about the information on the slide? It's pretty straightforward. Thank you.
I do have a question, though, not about the slide. You said that you're going to be bringing on a contractual accountant.
Yes, sir.
What do you mean by contractual accountant? Is that in place of a full-time hire?
So, parallel with your advice and others to more broadly advertise, cast our net wider, to expand the pool based on what we've received so far, we will be advertising parallel for a full-time accountant 3. We're not able to get an accountant 4 with a preference of a CPA. We don't want to, tighten that net so far that we limit somebody that's good and has the ability to become a CPA, say within 6 months, sit forward and what have you. But we are preferred as a CPA. So we have the advertising for permanent full-time accountant. And then the contractual accountant will be through our staffing company, Abacus. And we found an individual that is a fiscal administrator for the city, relatively high up, but she is going back out to start her own, restart her own accounting firm. And so her last day is next week. We've checked with our human resources department, and it's all on the up and up for us to contract with her immediately, her leaving the city employment. But Taylor's familiar with her, promoted her twice when he was over in the Department of Finance, and she's just looking to go back into her own practice. But in the meantime, work with us 20 to 30 hours a week, which we think will be sufficient for now. So we have 2 parallel processes going.
So we've got a short-term fix until we can find somebody.
Correct, and we're fully committed to trying to find the best candidate. In the meantime, I think we have the best possible scenario for a short-term fix. So,
Thank you.
yes, sir, thank you.
All right, any other questions for Brian? Thank you, Brian. The next item of business is a monthly briefing on the bioaccelerator.
I'm presenting on behalf of Devin Cowie. This is just an update, not a request. That's nice. So our bioaccelerator, there was a grand opening August 4th that we're all very excited about. So it's up and running and ready for tenants. Special guests included Mayor Dyer, Congresswoman Gloria, Drew Lumpkins, who's with Senator Warren's office, and Councilwoman Wilson. Then we also have representatives from the Alliance, Virginia Bio, EMS, Facility Logics, and then we actually had a couple prospects there as well. Next steps to fill the space is scheduling one-on-one tours of the space with the prospects and partners. And then also with Virginia Bio Network, who's agreed to partner with us, and we're actually a member of their organization. And one of the neat things that we've worked out with them is that the members of our tenants can be one-year members of the Bio Network, which is usually for like a business of 2 to 3 people is about $500, and then they also have access to discounted services from like UPS, what others, some medical supplies companies and whatnot. So it's kind of a nice little perk for them. And then a collaboration to build the Virginia. They're going to collaborate with us to build this Virginia Bio ecosystem. We're also planning another second grand opening. The space is a little bit smaller, so we can invite everyone at once. But plan an event with the local colleges, universities, and companies to network, plus additional marketing. We're also working with our domestic and international partners to work on marketing the space. And then also we're meeting with the Bio Challenge winners. The rates have now been confirmed, so if you want to be an affiliate or just have a virtual membership, it's $100 a month. Supporter, $15 a day. Basic, which is about co-working space for about 1 day a week, is $50 a month. And then plus basic is $75 a month. And then the lab rate's obviously a little bit more. They're starting at $430 a month, and then lab starting at $700 plus a month. And then if you want a private office and not just have a co-working space so that you can lock your office at the end of the day, it's $221 a month. So some pictures from our opening.
It was a really nice event, and it was great that there were prospects there, so hopefully we'll.
And one thing that we're excited about is as we've been talking to the universities and whatnot, a lot of they have a decent amount of students and people that they've been working with that can't go to their accelerators or space or don't want to, because then the university would own their research and their products and whatnot, but they still want them to succeed in the area. So our accelerator could be a great option for people that don't want that as close of a legal relationship with the universities, but then the professors can still come into our space and work with them. Another little perk.
That's great.
And the universities are saying we're not a competitor, we're a partner, so it'll be good.
Any questions for Laura? Thank you for the update. Next item of business is a request for approval for the granting of an option to Mid-Atlantic NAP LLC.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the authority. Today I'd like to present to you Mid-Atlantic NAP LLC. And again, they're looking to option property in our corporate landing business park. I'll leave this up for a minute to disclose the folks that they're working with. The company is a subsidiary of ACA. You may remember that they've been trying to build a facility here for the last several years. The last site that they looked at, the owners decided to go another route as far as selling it to other companies in that particular area. So they've come back to us to ask for a site in our park. They're looking to develop a cable landing station along with the International Business Exchange. Currently, they're building such a facility in Washington State, and Taylor has been over in Spain. They've got a project underway over there also. This is a two-phase development. In our park will be phase one. They're currently in negotiations also for a phase two in other property out in our community. Currently, we do have a EDIP with the company, but certainly as things go along, we'd have to completely take a look at that and renegotiate that particular incentive that we've provided to them. As you see, where ACA is the property that we're talking about in our park, right next to JES, and just down the street from Telsius and Corporate Landing. As you see from this is a little bit better picture right here of where the area is. As was mentioned previously, we're doing a lot of stormwater work out there to expand the capability that ESON's been working on. Certainly there's some issues here, so the 14.2 acres may be less than that ultimately once we get the stormwater situation squared away. The company is aware of that and are willing to go ahead with the project even with less land there. Again, keeping in mind that phase two would be able to do the rest of their project. There's a picture of what the facility would look like from the front. And then here would be a layout, a potential layout for the facility on it. And again, this is the water issue right now that we're dealing with internally. Okay. So we received a letter of intent back on July 13th to purchase the land. They're offering $200,000 per acre, which is the price of our recent sales, with a $20,000 deposit. And this project, there's several aspects of it. It would be bringing in a new cable to Virginia Beach, along with the three that we currently have. So we'd certainly have to land at the beach, most likely at the Sandbridge area that we've been talking to them about. Also, a franchise agreement to utilize the right-of-way in the city to connect the beach location to our Corporate Landing Park. And they would like to start this project as soon as possible. And what we'd like to request is approval of option to purchase for up to 14.2 acres of usable land, $200,000 per acre, $20,000 deposit, which is non-refundable if not purchased within the first year. Also, a right of first refusal during the second 6 months of this option should a bona fide purchaser make an offer to purchase the property in excess of $200,000 per acre. The optionee shall have the right to match that higher offer if it can close within 60 days. So again, that's what we're asking, and I'll be glad to answer any questions at this time. Yes, sir.
This doesn't have anything to do with that Kitty Hawk wind farm project, does it?
No, sir, it's completely different. It's a subsea, the communications cable here.
Right, that's what I thought, because you were talking about the landing at Sandbridge. I was just curious, because they were also talking about bringing in the power through Sandbridge.
Yes, we're talking about several, but they're located in different locations in the Sandbridge area, not to conflict with each other. Questions?
And that's how they bring the cable to, and that part is the franchise agreement, right? How they bring the cable to Corporate Landing.
Yes, from the beach to Corporate Landing, it would have to go along city right away. Again, with the other cables and other utilities there, so they would work that out, and a franchise agreement would have to be made with the city to be able to run that cable. Yes, sir.
Is it underground?
Yes, sir, underground.
I think Bill's got a question.
Would they use the NIMO right-of-way that's not built yet, or Sandbridge Road?
Most likely, that's where that would go, yes.
When they designed this, and the pictures, I guess, probably are preliminary, Have they designed for the changes to the design guidelines at Corporate Landing? Because I know we're in the middle of that process now.
Yes, they're current with their, planning on building a wood firm or basically work with the existing guidelines that we're looking to go to. And that's, it's a modular component, as you saw earlier, and that would meet the guidelines that we're getting ready to put into effect shortly.
And I think the right of first refusal is important because we're running out of land at Corporate Landing. So to the extent they've got an option and somebody else comes along that's ready to close and buy the land, I think it's important that they should have to pull the trigger pretty quickly so it's not just sitting out there.
They've indicated that they've got things lined up now and they're ready to go. So we're hoping that they get things started very, very soon. Yes.
This company, ACA, they're not the ones that are gonna be running the cable from Sandbridge down the Nemo right-of-way, though. Is that correct? Is that somebody else that'll be doing that?
They would pay for that, but it would be another company that they would contract with that specializes in that type of work.
Do you know if they have to do an environmental assessment or environmental impact study on the running of the cable down through that wetlands there?
They wouldn't have to because it's been approved, because it's city land. So it's, that process has already taken place and the city owns the right of way along there. So,
Well, I don't know whether that's, I don't know about that. Because they're doing an environmental assessment now about putting a road through there and the city owns the land. Just because the city owns the land, I don't believe that makes it so that they don't have to do an environmental assessment. At least an environmental assessment, maybe an environmental impact study.
I think it sounds like they're treated like a public utility.
Correct.
So they wouldn't necessarily need to do the environmental assessment, and I think they would stay within the right-of-way of Nemo, the new Nemo Parkway right-of-way, so there wouldn't be any additional impact.
So a public utility is treated differently than a road?
Yes, sir.
That's my
Okay,
understanding.
all right, okay, thank you very much for that.
All right, any other questions for Ray? So you're requesting approval for an option, or essentially a purchase option of the 14.2 acres for a year initially, is that correct? All right, the chair will entertain a motion.
So moved.
All right,
Second.
So we've got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ray. Next item is Muralfest 2021.
Yes, Madam Chair, hopefully this is a festive item. We were approached by the Vibe Creative District and the developer of Atlantic Park, who is sponsoring, now in its fourth year, 2021 Muralfest with the Vibe Creative District. And so the request is to basically install, and this is kind of the latest thing now, container art that has a mural on it. And I'll talk about what the theme of that would be for this particular site. But in the meantime, these are the disclosures for folks that are involved with Finishner Waves LLC, primary organizer of Atlantic Park LLC. And so what we're talking about, it's a little busy here, but you're talking about the southeast intersection of Arctic Avenue at 19th Street. It has been a construction staging yard for a variety of capital improvement program projects throughout the resort area over time. And right now, it's just kind of a crush and run lot that has a periphery of live oak trees on the corner, but just enough of a gap there at the corner proper to be able to see the mural art. And that's kind of looking at it from the middle of the intersection, looking southeast at where it would be all of that construction, trailers and what have you when the fence is no longer there. So there are two containers, roughly 20 feet wide and 8 feet tall and 8.5 feet tall and 8 feet deep, stacked on top of each other. The narrative, because it's unveiled as they as they paint it, is a surfer doing a maneuver on a wave with kind of a geodesic shape in the background to emulate, abstract version of the former Virginia Beach Dome. And what we're seeking is basically a short-term use agreement to be able to sign off on it and have this temporary art there for up to 6 months until they have started to work in that particular area of the park. It can be extended upon agreement of both parties. They have responsibility for the maintenance of it, and there is an indemnity and hold harmless clause to the city for this. And the agreement can be terminated by either party within 30 days' notice. So the recommendation is to approve the short-term use agreement, which would be signed by the authority, and they would plan on mobilizing tomorrow. And then Muralfest starts. I encourage you to take that 1.5-mile trek either by golf cart or by walking. Sure. Is what they offer over the 10-day period, which is the 20th through the 29th. And this is one of 10 murals in 10 days. So we're seeking a motion of support on this, and stand by for any questions.
All right, Brian, I have a question. So this mural won't actually change. It'll be the same mural up.
That's correct. My understanding is that once it's in place and done, it will be there for as long as, up to 6 months until that part of the site needs to be taken over. If they want to come back and, like some businesses in the Vibe Creative District do, and repaint it and place it somewhere else, they would have to come back to this body and likely and move it and talk about what the mural would be then. If they were to move it somewhere else on the site, say the second phase or something like that.
It's a creative way to activate the space for the short term. Any other questions for Brian? All right, the chair will entertain a motion on the short-term use agreement with Venture Waves for art installation.
Motion to approve.
So we've got a motion and a second. All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Administrative information. So this is the time of year where we appoint a nominating committee, and the nominating committee will be Dot Wood, who's agreed to serve in that capacity, and Gunther Weisenseal, I think I said that right, and they will be working on a report for us for the next meeting for our slate of officers. Thank you, Dot, for agreeing to do that.
If anyone has a desire to serve, let us know.
All right, the next item of business is priorities of commissioners or any comments of members. Anyone have any comments? All right, quiet meeting today. All right, then we'll go over to the director's report. Taylor?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Two quick updates. The first, just a bit of past business. I can confirm for the authority that Debbie Deere from Vanguard Landing stopped by Friday and submitted a check for the sum that we had requested. So we have a check for $500,000 that has been deposited, and we will keep you posted on the progress there. One other thing to note on this matter, just in the last few moments, we have received, and I noticed that Vicki has forwarded to all of you and to me, a letter from Ms. Deere. She had requested an opportunity to speak at this meeting, but obviously there was no voting item on the agenda. That was not something that our rules for public comment allow, and it appears that she has sent us a letter, sort of, I'm assuming memorializing what her comments would have been, but I do not know that for a fact. We did not know this was coming, but you have it as quickly as we have it. Moving on from that to a bit of forward-looking business, and today's a great day to do it when we see that there is a company that we've been working with for some time now, in the data management business that is working both here and on the other end of our cable in Spain. As you all know, my team does quite a bit of work, has done quite a bit of work in preparation for the offshore wind industry coming to the United States. And by a stroke of luck for us, the global headquarters for this industry is in two places we were already working. One was in the Basque region of Spain. The other is in the east of England. And it's interesting. It's all driven by the same company, a multinational company, Iberdrola, that started investing in this industry 15, 20 years ago through funding a company that was called Gamesa, that later became Siemens Gamesa. It should also be noted that Iberdrola is the owner of Avangrid Renewables and also the owner of Scottish Power. And so if you look at the world of really renewable energy, but particularly offshore renewable energy pertaining to offshore wind, these are the places. Well, this week, in preparation for the IPF, which is sort of the global conference on offshore wind and renewable energy, coming to Richmond next week, we have, Laura, help me, it's about 50 total prospects in town from all companies that need to be here as this industry grows up. So the majority of those from Spain, but also we're happy to have delegations from Belgium and from England.
Yeah, United Kingdom, and then a couple Germans as well.
Yeah, and so you all, it's going to be a busy week from us. You all will likely see us all over town with looking a bit frazzled, and but we'll be beginning Thursday. It'll be all hands on deck here in Virginia Beach, and then most notably with a handoff to the governor in Richmond Monday evening. One of the things that we were able to do that we're very excited about is basically think of it as the Minister General, the governor effectively of Biscay, which is the region of the Basque state, as it were, that holds Bilbao. She is coming with a team. She will be on site here in Virginia Beach through the weekend. We'll go out to see the wind turbines on Monday, and then Monday evening we'll be greeted by the governor, and there'll be a ceremonial signing of an MOU to collaborate going forward. And I'm very proud of the work that this team has done to facilitate that process. It's rare that this happens at this level of government, but it was great that we were able to use our contacts to create this opportunity for the Commonwealth. And so a great example of the work that you all do, continuing to be a leadership in economic development across the Commonwealth of Virginia and our region. So thank you all.
Great.
Thank you, Taylor. Great update. And I think as folks know, we've got Dominion Energy off of the coast of Virginia Beach, and then Avangrid Renewables is off the coast of North Carolina, but they have options to use space in Corporate Landing for their substation.
That's right. The infrastructure doesn't exist in North Carolina to land the power there. So we're collaborating with our colleagues to the south to ensure that we maximize this opportunity for our city and region.
That's great.
Great. Any questions for Taylor?
That's great.
Wonderful. The chair will entertain a motion to recess into a closed session pursuant to exemptions from open meetings allowed by Section 2.2-3711A Code of Virginia as amended for the following purposes. Publicly held property, discussion or consideration of the acquisition of real property for a public purpose or of the disposition of publicly held real property where discussion in an open meeting would adversely affect the bargaining position or negotiating strategy of the public body pursuant to Virginia Code Section 2.2-3711A3. Prospective business or industry. Discussion concerning a prospective business or industry or the expansion of an existing business or industry where no previous announcement has been made of the businesses or industry's interest in locating or expanding its facilities in the community pursuant to Virginia Code Section 2.2-3711A5. And contracts. Discussion of the award of a public contract involving the expenditure of public funds, including interviews of bidders or offerers, and discussion of the terms or scope of such contract, where discussion in an open session would adversely affect the bargaining position or negotiating strategy of the public body pursuant to Virginia Code Section 2.2-3711A30. And
So moved.
we've got a motion from Mr. Brunke and a second from Ms. Wood. All in favor, say aye.
No, we have
Actually,
to do that.
roll call vote. Vicki?
William Brown,
Yes.
William Brunke,
Yes.
Taylor Franklin,
Yes.
Annie Morgan. Yes. Lisa Murphy,
Yes.
Joe Strange.
Yes.
Dot Wood.
Yes.